Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Debs, and if you're new, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about this new Blake Lively movie, It All Ends With Us, and what's kind of like going on in the news with the movie, and how apparently she's getting like some type of backlash. I will start to say that I have not read the book and I haven't seen the movie. I don't know much about it, and there isn't much to really know about exactly like what is going on. Like in the news, it alludes to things, but it's not really saying like what exactly happened. I guess the actor who is also the director and one of the main actors, which I will start to say like the movie does involve DV. So that actor was also the director, and he was the one that did the DV, and he does not do press with Blake or any of the actors, and people think that that's weird. Maybe there's like more to it. And to that, I would say that a lot of times actors, when they do press, they do like kind of like stay in character. So in a sense, I could kind of understand where that would come from, that like why she wouldn't want to necessarily be like posing with him, I guess. And there is a backlash saying that like she's trying to promote it as like a rom-com or something, or she's not really discussing much about DV when she does press on the movie, which is difficult to respond to because, like I said, I haven't read the book, I haven't seen the movie, but I do think that I'm not sure how in depth it goes, but if it does involve that, I think that it would be definitely like more difficult to market it if they're like, this is really dark. And so I think sometimes what people don't realize is in order to market things to people or have it be talked about, sometimes you almost have to make it more easier to digest or normalize talking about it, which doesn't mean that you make light about it or that you like take it less serious. However, sometimes these heavy topics, they are so taboo to the extent where it's just like, oh, people can't talk about it. So in a way, it is actually helpful to normalize it, to make it normal to talk about it, because unfortunately it is something that is very normal, that happens to a lot of women. I think it actually happens to more women than not, sad to say. So through these kinds of things, it's not, I mean, so long as it's not making light of it or making it, a joke, I think that it is kind of helpful to normalize it. While it is a heavy, serious topic, hopefully if it becomes more normalized, it'll be more easier for like people to discuss. In terms of like legality, I noticed, or I read that actor, which was like the director, the one that like played the main antagonist, the one that did the DV, that wouldn't do any press with the rest of the cast, he hired a crisis PR team, which actually worked with Johnny Depp, which I found interesting because it's like, what happened? And in the press, everyone's like, what happened? And then since then, there has been this woman that came forward that did an interview with Blake Lively years ago, that recently like came to light, and she was so rude. How the interview starts off, I guess she was like pregnant, and the lady goes to Blake Lively saying like, congratulations on your bump. And then Blake Lively responds like, congratulations on your bump. And I guess like, I watched the interview, and it was like with her and another actor, I think it was Parker Posey. And then for most of the interview, like Blake Lively wouldn't really look at her, and like they kind of had their own side conversation. People were like, oh my God, so rude, so rude. I mean, she was also pregnant, so I think we should give her a little bit of grace, but I think it's a little bit weird how that like came out now. And then that lady did an interview, I think it was with Popcorn Planet, and he also said that like, oh, just to make it perfectly clear, neither of us have anything to do with this, you know, Johnny Depp's PR team or anything like that. And that lady who released the interview saying like, oh, I had no idea that like there was even anything going on with Blake Lively right now, bad PR. I just decided now is the time, which I'm not really buying. But I don't know. And then there was also like this article that came out that said this fan gave out friendship bracelets to the cast, but Blake Lively wasn't the only one that didn't wear it. And just like all of a sudden, like that's the worst you got. So part of me almost like wonders, is that like the whole PR? You know what I mean? Is that part of the PR? Because I know that like Blake and even her husband Ryan has become like part of it, and they do have a history of being kind of very like unserious and trolls and pranksters. And I noticed that they did an interview, but this is a different I haven't, like I said, I haven't read the book, haven't seen the movie, but there's a different love interest, I take it, named Atlas, which I think is more of like a I'm not sure, but he's a different love interest. And I saw brief just cut of an interview where Ryan Reynolds was interviewing him like, oh, how are you like playing this with my wife? And then Ryan's mom comes up like, how are you doing for my sweet baby Ryan? So while people maybe think that, oh, it's like making light or a joke, or like say like you're promoting as a rom-com, maybe I'm thinking that's a way of kind of almost like a PR in itself, I'm thinking, because it's like nobody's saying like what really happened, but he hired a crisis PR. So maybe it's like almost like a way of like reigniting or starting these kinds of conversations, because these things happen so often. And I don't know, it's like kind of happening to one of my friends, and it's very, I'm not going to go into it, it's not my story to tell, but it's like she told me about it, and I'm like, that's fucked up, leave. And then like he did it again, but she's like, I'm not getting any younger. You know, there's a lot of love there. I think that we should try to work it out. And in the past, I have, because I'm the kind of person where I just like, I get so worked up about it, I have to say my piece, and I just like, I can't stand to see my friends go through that. So I have actually like had to cut off friendships with friends before because of that, because it's just like, and we all have our own issues, and that's something that I, at least yet, hopefully never have dealt with. So I've never experienced, you know, like, if anything, I would say I've witnessed more so female abuse, which probably explains why I felt so like, you know, understandable regarding the Johnny Depp case. But so that's something I've never really, so it's I mean, of course I have empathy, but to me it's just like, if a man, like, you know, like, abuse, don't let a man abuse you, if you no, don't abuse a man. But like, it just, I don't know, I guess I just and you try, and you're just like, but of course you don't know unless you're in that situation. And I've realized that it's something where you can just yap until you're blue in the face, but the person's not gonna leave until they're ready. And I think the best thing that you can do in that situation is you want to like make sure, I mean I don't know what the best thing to do is. I mean, this is just kind of what I am trying to do in the situation. Hopefully it's good, or it's just like trying to leave that line of communication and just be like, yeah, fuck him, but like not making additional stress, or of course bringing light to it. Or old me probably would have messaged him and like, but new me is like, well, if I were to do something like that, who knows, that could create further problems for her, or you know, maybe a miracle will happen and he'll change, or I don't, and it's just I don't know, it just happens more often than women talk about. And it's just not fair, it's not right. And it's not right at all. It's just, it's sad what some people have to like deal with in the shadows, and how we're supposed to just, you know, have a stiff upper lip and just, you know, be the better person, or oh, it's because, you know, like in their childhood or something like this. It's just, of course we all have our own things, no one's perfect or whatever, like, but there's just something about, but there's also some like abuse of any kind, and of course, sad to say, emotional abuse I feel like is even more common. And it's even harder to prove or talk about, because like if someone is being emotionally abusive, how do you it's more difficult to prove. They can just say whatever to you, jab you, and sometimes that can even cut deeper. Well, I mean, they both suck, but it's more difficult to prove. If someone punches you, you have a bruise or a scar, whatever, like, but emotional abuse is a lot easier to gaslight. So you're just nuts, you're just crazy, you're making it up. And it's not only like men that abuse it. It goes both ways, and it's not cool, it's not okay. And I think it's good that we normalize talking about it, because it happens so much. And not always like physically, but emotionally, especially. Emotional abuse is so common. Like it happens all the time to everybody. And I think it's good that we normalize talking about it, and even not in a way that we normalize that it's like, okay, I don't know how to explain. I think the more that we become comfortable talking about it, or saying this person is doing this or whatever, and the more comfortable we feel talking about it, the more we can nip it in the bud before it gets worse. Or the more comfortable, the more we learn that this is not okay, the more that we learn that like all of the red flags, all of these things, the more that we talk about it and we realize that you're not the only one that goes through it. You're not alone. This happens a lot. And the more that we can talk about any red flags that happen, or what to do, how to get help, how to protect yourself, the more that we can talk about that, like the more that we can prevent things from getting worse. Because the more that we can kind of be educated or learn about those red flags, we can hopefully stop it before it gets worse. Because that's what I told my friend. I said, every time you go back, and this is, I'm talking this statistically, I'm never say never, but statistically, usually every time you go back, oh, like, oh, he said his story is gonna change. It doesn't get better. It gets worse. Because if someone is abusive or whatever, they're like, okay, I got away with this. She stayed. Now the boundary is pushed further. So the next time they will push it further. And then it's just, it's a cycle that goes on and on. And of course, I don't know, maybe miracles can happen, whatever, but statistically that is what tends to happen until eventually the person that's experiencing the, DV abuse, they just hit a point where they cannot take it anymore, or it just becomes like, it's either them or like my life. So yeah, it's something that happens all the time to men, to women, everybody. And whether it's physical, emotional, mental, like it happens like a lot. And it's good that we should feel comfortable talking about it, because why is it the ones that experience it that feel like, oh, this is my burden to bear, this is my cross to bear? And I just like, it's almost like a shame, a sense of shame that comes with it. And now that person that I'm sure that they experience their own traumas or, whatever in their own life, that of course there's a reason that they are like that. But now they're actually like paying it forward. Now all of a sudden you have caught that from them. Now you have to, go to therapy or do ayahuasca or, Cambo and all this, and speaking from personal experience. So it's just, it's almost like the people like pass it on. And the more that we feel like the more that the person who is like the well, I don't mean that, but you know what I mean? Like the victim, or like the person, the recipient of it, I don't like the word victim, but the recipient of the abuse, like they are the ones that feel like they have to just not tell anyone, or maybe no one will believe me, or it's like becomes their cross to bear. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be normal to discuss. It should be a safe space to tell your girlfriends, your boyfriend, whatever, your family, what is happening. And I think that we should believe each other. If your family member, your friend is telling you that, I think that we should believe. I mean, you know that person, and you know if they would lie about that or not, and you should, that's your best friend, you're gonna believe that. It's important that we're there for each other, and we without overstepping their boundaries as well, just tell them like, this isn't good, and just do our best to be there for them. And the more that we talk about our experiences, the more that other people will hopefully feel comfortable talking about their own. And I don't know. So I think until, something, going back to the main topic, which is this Blake Lively movie, until something actually comes out, or I'm just for now taking it as a kind of form of PR to kind of promote the movie in a very like digestible way. Because typically, I mean, I could be wrong, but until some actual stuff comes out, that's just how I'm choosing to look at it. Because in which case that would actually be smart, because it allows them to, in a very small, easy way, market this movie. And it looks like it's doing very well in the box office, which is great. And that's one good thing that like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds obviously know a lot about. So it's good for them to make it, something that is well talked about, and just because it is something that we need to talk about more, because it's not cool, it's not okay, and there's so many people that are suffering in silence. And if you're one of those people, I just want you to know that you're not alone. I believe you, I stand with you, and I hope that everyone else that watches this channel also does. I will link down below some options for you to have someone to talk to or get help. And if you ever need someone to talk to, I am here. And I just want you to know that you're not alone, and I believe you. And we believe you, and we stand with you. And I'm glad that this is something that will hopefully be open for discussion more with people. If you have experienced this with a friend, because this is what I'm kind of going through, please leave some suggestions down below, and tell me what I could do to be like a good friend to help. Because yeah, it's hard. Well, I'm not making it about me. It's harder for her, of course, but it's just, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I guess I just have to be supportive. I don't know. If you know any tips or experiences, please comment down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I still have to update on where I've been, but I don't know if anyone is still around to wonder. But yeah, anyways, I hope you all have a good night, a good day, whatever it may be. And thank you so much for watching. And yeah, love you guys. Bye.